The sights and sounds of college football have returned to Schumann Stadium. It's Ball State's spring game to wrap up spring camp, live from Muncie, Indiana. So happy you're with us here today. Nick Traub, Mick Tidrow. Nick, you've been through so many of these spring games throughout your career. It's a different feel than what anything else is during the summer, during the fall. But the big news is we have football, and it's April 8th. These are all good things.
Yeah, no, we love football in the spring. Anytime we can play football, it's obviously great. These guys have this is the 15th practice of the spring. They're trying to just put it all together, cap off what was a great 14 practices over a span of 3 weeks. A lot of guys trying to have the opportunity to get better, work on their craft, work on the fundamentals. A lot of guys trying to earn a spot on the roster in different ways or the other, and we'll get into that later. But, it's fun to cap it off on a beautiful Saturday here in Muncie, Indiana. I've been in some of these where it's brutally cold. So the fact that we've got a beautiful day here in Muncie, the guys are out here ready to rock and roll and have a good time today.
This is a picture-perfect morning/afternoon for spring football. And you talk about the culmination of all the hard work from what we saw in the fall, the wrap-up 2022. Several returners, but there are fresh friends, fresh faces to be able to talk about throughout the spring game and spring practice here today. The most intriguing part about spring game is what?
I think the opportunity for certain players. You've got guys out here that are returning starters. They're just trying to continue to get better at their game. You've got new faces that we're going to talk about today that are trying to earn a spot on this roster and where they fit in on this roster. You've got walk-ons that are trying to earn scholarships. You've got guys that are trying to make the bus. You've got guys that are trying to get on the two deep, trying to earn a starting spot, that haven't played a lot of college football. So, you work all offseason like we talked about in the weight room, out there in spring practice. You get to put it all together on one day here during the spring game, put something on tape for the coaches to go off of, and then work back into the weight room in the summer as you get into fall camp. So it's not a determining factor by any means on where they're going to line up with this roster, but it's certainly a step in the right direction as they compete today for positions.
And we talk about the competition. It's kind of an open book right now because of all of the different moving parts of what college football looks like right now. There's open competitions across the board, and you mentioned we'll be able to see so many of those play out, not only today but in the summer, in fall camp. And that's one of the most exciting parts about the spring is the opportunity to show what you're made of. And as somebody who is a long snapper, went through camps, earned starting spots, worked through your career to get to where you were at, today is a day to establish some of those foundations.
Yeah, for sure. Some of these guys are redshirt freshmen. They didn't even really they were scout team guys working in the weight room last year. Today's a day where you get to show off a little bit. It's time to put the pads on, and actually hit somebody today and go, okay, the coaches watch the tape and go, we got to put that guy either on a special teams unit or give him a more opportunity going into fall camp because they had a heck of a spring.
What's the significance today compared to the other 14 spring practices? What's special about this one?
I think it's just the conclusion of spring practice. It's a celebration of, we get to play football in the spring. We get to get better. It's a team. There's a camaraderie piece to it. The offense is competing against the defense. You want those bragging rights headed into the summer. There's a lot of players with families here today. They get to actually play in front of some family and friends versus a closed practice indoors when, when the weather was brutal a couple of weeks ago. So, it's one of those where the kids will have fun today. I wouldn't say it's any more than the other practices because you've got to put them all together at the end of the day. That's what the coaches are looking for. Can you put 15 good practices together? And this is just the conclusion of what has probably been a great spring.
And the spring of 2023 could not be any better right now. It's sunny and 47 degrees. Looks like we'll hit around 60 at some point today, but this is a perfect foundation outside, great conditions, and an opportunity for everybody to show what they are made of. So, as we go through today's spring game and drills, want to line up what's going to happen throughout the course of the morning and the afternoon. So it's scheduled to be around an hour 15, hour 20-minute game practice situation, simulation opportunities for players to show what they're made of and to go through some of these drills. So the first 10 minutes or so from 11 to 11:10 is stretching and work to get ready. And that's just like a typical before a game. Stretch, do your sprints, have an opportunity to get ready. And then at 11:10, your favorite part of the entire morning and afternoon, we go through special teams, PATs, field goals, opportunity for the first 5 minutes of action to see the special teams unit on display. And then in blocks 3 and 4, tracks and routes, partner drills, level drills, shoots. We'll go through all of that when it hits at 11:15 and 11:19. That window's about 8 minutes before they go into 7-on-7, 2-minute drill end of game scenario, down by 5 points at the minus 36 to have opportunities to go out and score. 2 timeouts on the table. We'll go through all of this as we hit those points as well. And then after that, this is a fun segment, too. It's one-on-one, offensive line, defensive line. They'll meet at the 50-yard line. That one's intriguing because they're both veteran groups. Offensive line, defensive line come back, but there are still young players who are trying to assert themselves, and this is a perfect chance to do that.
Yeah, I mean, look, like we said, it's going to be a one-on-one session, so the whole team's going to be watching you. You know, offense will be rooting for their side, defense will be rooting for their side. You get your one shot, you got to make it count because you're not getting a do-over.
And then after that, we go one-on-ones with wide receivers, tight ends, running backs. They'll group up and go against defensive backs and linebackers at the 50-yard line. So there are specific players that will go through these drills. And some of these drills are quick. These are 5 groups of players going through within a 2-minute window. So it's beat your man, move on, get out of the way. Next team comes up to try and do it. And then after that, a couple more drills after the one-on-ones with the skill position players, the linebackers and DBs. They'll have a team punt session at 11:37. That's another special teams big opportunity for newcomers to establish themselves there. And then there is a break after that punt session. And then after that, at about 11:43, we'll go team with kicks. It'll be 4 plays, field goal, 4 plays, field goal. After that, fun matchup again, more special teams. That'll be take the can. And then a break after that. Again, another team live session, 4, field goal, 4. And then probably what everybody was most excited about when talking to the group was the gauntlet at the end of it at 12:17. This wraps up the drills, the sessions, all of the fun. They'll go through with the big man gauntlet. They'll have all the quarterbacks do it first, and then a couple of the offensive linemen and defensive linemen will participate in that to see who can catch the most amount of balls running through a straight line as they're thrown at them, one after one after one. So I'm intrigued by what that could bring.
You got to have a little fun. It's the spring, we're not into fall camp yet, so you got to keep these guys smiling. They'll have a blast doing it. It'll be something fun for the crowd. So we'll get after it when we get to that session.
Yeah, the competition big man gauntlet, that wraps things up around 12:17. That will take place. So that's the lineup for today. Once each one comes up, we'll further explain what each one of those brings to the table and then go through it. So it looks like everybody's starting to take center stage onto the field, running through some of these drills. Everybody was done warming up, stretching, going through their band routines. And right now, it appears that the field goal units are on at about the 7-yard line. So Lucas Burrow participating as the holder. Carson Homer is the new place kicker as of right now because Ben Von Gunten graduated, spent 4 years at a different school, played last year for Ball State, and he has moved on due to graduation. So Carson Homer has a chance to flash his skills. Lucas Burrow, the holder, and the long snapper today is Caden Britton, a sophomore, having a chance to show his skills.
Yeah, and the biggest thing in this session right now, I am almost guaranteeing they've done this session every single day of practice. They're working on the operation. It's, like you said, new faces, trying to get used to each other, the chemistry that goes involved in field goal, the snap to hold the kick, getting the timing down right. What they're also doing is they're rolling a ball on the opposite side. In the event that kick was blocked, we're working on situational field goal here. Go recover it, get on the ground. The point of this is it's going to be a short period, but they're going to get in as many kicks as possible with different O-line groups, different D-line groups. You'll see the defense, they're lining up in field goal block. They're trying to get their alignment correct. Their get-offs. Now, nobody is going to actually block the kick here because it's a simulated field goal session. Nobody's trying to get anybody hurt, but the get-off is the important part, giving it a look as we get the second group in here to get more reps.
Now, Homer was attempting 47-yard field goals, attempting 37-yarders, 27-yarders, so they moved them back 10 yards per kick. So now Homer's back in as the kicker running through the second round. Britton, the long snapper, and at this point, the holder is Colin Blazek, one of the backup quarterbacks who saw number 2 reps mostly last year behind John Paddock. So Homer's going through more kicks with Britton as the long snapper, just changing who the holder is at this point, which helps because game situations may lead to that having to happen.
You have to have depth, and part of spring practice is trying to find that depth, especially in the special teams game at holder. Blazek here. If Burrow gets hit, in the game when he's punting the football and can't go out there and hold because he's got an injured leg, well then, the backup holder's got to be ready to go. So everybody's going to get reps today. It's going to be fun to watch. Again, this may not be the most glamorous session, the special teams piece, but it's critically important. You'll see in college football that teams that don't operate on special teams very well lose football games. I know you watched LSU a little bit last year. They struggled at times in the field goal unit, and it cost them games. So hence the importance right from the gate on special teams from Ball State.
So Blazek puts one down on a 37-yarder from Homer here and hits it right inside the left upright. So Homer has a few reps to go through this in the spring game. You said special teams isn't glamorous. You just threw your own unit under the bus.
No,
because it wins you games and it loses you games.
People talk about it when you don't do it well. I mean, that's when it gets talked about the most. When you do it well, it's just another part of the game, and it leads to winning football.
Here's a 47-yarder from Homer. The right-footed kicker splits the uprights and puts one through. And so now they're quickly moving in and out, rotating in who's participating. So they had the first session with Lucas Burrow, the punter, as the holder. Then Colin Blazek moved in as the holder. And a couple of reps later, Carson Homer finishes with a 47-yard boot through the uprights.
Yeah, I think he had a good session there. That was a pretty good field goal as they now transition to the next phase of practice.
So the next phase of practice, tracks and routes for running backs and quarterbacks, partner work for the wide receivers, drills for the tight ends, and shoots for the offensive linemen. So this one isn't a huge active part of it. This is to help set up what's coming later in the spring game and practice. Nick, when they're going through this, starting with the running backs and quarterbacks, tracks and routes, what are they doing right now?
So right now, quarterbacks under center, they're working on toss plays left and right. And for what that is, the track, where is the running back hitting the hole? So right now they've got it real tight to the A-gap. They're working on getting that toss nice and perfect, running backs coming downhill. I mean, it's the little fundamental details here in this individual session that you've got to get those down. Otherwise, the play's not going to work later when you see it in the live period.
So the quarterback, running back doing all of that. The wide receivers doing partner drills. And when you talk about partner drills, it seems like it could be pretty vague. So what is the wide receiver core working on right this minute?
Yeah, so they're working on their route. They've got a partner receiver just acting as a defender. It's really a receiver drill, but they've got a partner up so that it shows like it's a DB. Right now they're working on a comeback route, working on that put your foot in the ground, come back to the football, make sure you use the proper leverage so that you can seal the defender.
And this is huge because this is such a small window between who's throwing the football, where the wide receiver is, and the defensive back right on top of them. So this is drills where they have to have good touch with the hands.
Correct. You see it all last year, too. We had that play to Johannes Tyler where it was just a quick 4-yard hitch, 3rd and 4, have to get to the sticks, have to turn, get open. It's a tight window. Ball's got to come in to get that first down.
And some of those wide receivers participating in those drills, Daya Patel, Dwayne Moorhead, Xavier Simpson out there, wide receiver working on some of those drills, along with Malcolm Gilly, Keon Magwood, Nick Munson, some of those wideouts to keep an eye on as the spring game moves forward. Big note, no more Johannes Tyler. Ja'Shawn Jackson graduated. Abdir Amur-Rahman is also no longer part of the team. He put his name in for the NFL draft. So there's different wide receivers, different faces, and again, even within these individual drills, a chance for them to stick out.
Yeah, because look, the coaches are always watching. So if you don't work hard in the individual, your fundamentals lack, and then it lacks when it goes live. You can't just put it all together going live. The coaches are valuing. We talked about, there's a lot of new faces. There are a lot of jobs at the receiver position up for grabs. These guys probably were chomping at the bit to get to spring football because it was an opportunity for them to see what the depth chart looks like as we approach fall camp. They put some good tape on. We'll see what happens in the weight room in the summer. And then that initial depth chart will come out in the fall. And that could change completely by the time we open up in week 1.
Most likely will, right? Because there are so many things that players are doing to assert themselves.
Correct. It's one rep at a time for these guys. You can't look at the fall right now. You've got to take what's right in front of you, and that's the spring game.
So that's the wide receivers going at it right now in the partner drills. The level drills for the tight ends. What does that all entail?
Well, so right now they're working on taking a step over, blocking their man in front, an outside tight end, or an outside defensive end, I should say, working on that reach for that RPO play that we have. So it's just simple fundamental, simple footwork that they're working. No crash course collisions. They're just working on that first step and then the drive motion so that when it gets live, they're actually going full force.
And part of that going full force starts here.
Yeah.
Because having the small steps taken care of now help for later.
If you miss that first step on that block, well, then that defensive end is going to reach you to the outside, and then that run's going to force not where they want that play to go. So it's funny how we talk about individuals. Sometimes it's just working on one simple step, because if you have that step, then it's going to lead to better success as the play develops.
And we all know tight ends at this game, the college level now, all of them can catch.
Yeah.
It's about asserting yourself as a blocker.
Correct.
And this is a perfect time to do that.
And now they transition here, like we're talking about. Now they're lined up out wide in that Y position, and they have to take 3 steps and go block that nickel corner or that outside will linebacker. And what that looks like as you take 3 steps and 3 yards to then break down and then engage in the chest.
So the tight ends that are participating in that, Brady Hunt, Justin Morris, Maximus Sullivan, Tanner Koziol, Maximus Webster, Aiden Loeffler also participating there as well. So different players moving in and out. We, of course, know the names Brady Hunt and Tanner Koziol, but there are other players that have started to make a name for themselves in that tight end group as well. And now those tight ends have shifted over to working with the quarterbacks. Kyle Kelly, who's earned the Tough Cardinal #1, is throwing with some of the tight ends alongside with Lane Hatcher. That's about at the 35-yard line to our right. Those tight ends split out wide. Colin Blazek also mixing in to throw, and the wide receivers have now jumped in on the left-hand side. So within these drills, tracks, and routes, this all comes together with what they're working on, tight ends, receivers, and quarterbacks.
And this is all about timing right now. These are common, basic routes that they're going to throw all day long. And you've got to get the timing down. The spring is the perfect time to get those down so that when we come to the fall, they're working on more dynamic routes. But you have to have the basics down, and that's what it's the 3-step drop for the quarterback, the turn and throw. It's the get the route combination right of the amount of yards, turn, catch it, that timing that you need to get the first down, move the sticks, break a tackle, possibly have more yards.
And this is all simulation-based, Nick, so they're not taking time in between these drills. They're going from blocking at tight end to go line up at wide receiver, tight end splits, and have timing with your quarterback.
Yep. I mean, again, it's this Ball State offense. It likes to be dynamic. They like to spread it out. They like to bring it tight. So there's a lot of players that have to be multidimensional. They have to be able to block. They have to be able to run. They've got to be able to catch the football. They really like to teach it all, and that's why you're not going to see any wasted movement in practice. It's one drill to the next, and we're on to that drill.
And the drills continue to move on here at Schubin Stadium. The quarterbacks still throwing to the wide receivers and the tight ends. One of the first looks at Lane Hatcher throwing. So all 5 quarterbacks participating. Kyle Kelly, Lane Hatcher, Caden Simonza, Colin Blazek, and Caden Cobb. And there are several sophomores, freshmen mixed in that group. Lane Hatcher is the graduate transfer. Hatcher and Kelly are the ones throwing right now, rotating between the 35-yard line on either hash mark and throwing to the tight ends to the right side. Tanner Koziol linking up with Hatcher, and the wide receivers split out to the left side. So the quarterbacks are moving from left side to right side as well to have those opportunities to throw with the wideouts and also the tight ends.
Yes, I mean, we talked about new faces, so there's plenty of new receivers that are trying to get into the mix to compete for a starting job, as well as the quarterbacks. We've got a lot of new faces, like you said, at quarterback. We saw Kyle Kelly at the end of last year in that Miami game. Hatcher has played a lot of football. He's a 4-year veteran from the transfer portal. You've got a new incoming freshman, Simonza, who's from California, who enrolled early. And then you've got other guys at Blazek and Cobb that are trying to mix themselves into this thing. And these guys are throwing to new faces, new quarterbacks, new receivers. That timing is incredible as they continue to compete for jobs.
All the competition taking center stage here at the Ball State football spring game. Glad you're joining us here from Schubin Stadium. Nick Traub, Mick Sidro, and everybody's starting to group up now from the offensive side around the 35-yard line, defense at the 40-yard line left side, and then some work still taking place between the linemen on the far left side at the back of the end zone. Those are still the individual drills, and again, working on those first steps for the offense and defensive lines.
Yeah, and those guys, it's all about first step, get hands-on. If you've got to use your hands when you're on the defensive line. If you can engage the tackles and the guards, you're going to have more success on either shedding that block or working into the gap that you're supposed to based on the schematic play that they draw up.
So everybody started to move over to the sidelines and regroup before what comes next. So those were the tracks and routes for the running backs and quarterbacks, partner drills with the wide receivers and tight ends, the shoots with offensive linemen. The defensive players were working on some of their footwork, the tackling, and everything that was presented within that on the defensive side as well. So now that that's complete, everybody's moving into the two groups, 7-on-7 2-minute drills, end of game situation. It's a 26-21 score at the minus 36-yard line. 2 timeouts with 1 minute and 1 second to go. So this is quick opportunities for the depth to show what they can do, especially at these late game situations.
Yeah, and look, they're actually competing here. There's a score, there's a goal in mind, and they're going to compete offense and defense here. The winner's going to get points, probably in their spring system of whatever they got. Most teams do that, and we're going to let them see what they can do. So
the first quarterback to take the field is Lane Hatcher, and he has a couple of wide receivers, Malcolm Gilly, Daya Patel in there as well. The tight ends, Tanner Koziol, Brady Hunt in. Lane Hatcher takes a couple of steps, chucks it toward the left hash, and it's caught by Malcolm Gilly to move up to the 43-yard line. So a quick play of 7 yards. The clock continues to dwindle down. It's down to 47 seconds. Here goes Lane Hatcher from the left hash, drops back, pump fakes, throws into the turf, and it's incomplete. So it moves to 43 seconds on the clock in this 1 minute, 1 second, 2 timeout format.
Yeah, and Lane didn't like what he saw there from that, so he ended up putting it in the dirt, stopped the clock, lived to see another down, call another play, and regroup.
So on the field, Brady Hunt, Tanner Koziol. Hatcher still out there. Ethan Crow taking the reps at center, was an All-MAC performer last year from the second team. Malcolm Gilly, Daya Patel in as well with the tight ends. Hatcher into shotgun formation. Third down opportunity, 3 yards to go. Quick throw to the midfield on the right hash, and it's pulled in by Malcolm Gilly. And that moves the sticks. Clock stuck at 39 seconds. Both timeouts still in the back pocket as Hatcher into the shotgun formation from the right hash. Von Pemberton in the backfield to his left. Hatcher takes the step drop, throws it quickly to Koziol on the outside numbers right. He floats out of bounds, stops the clock at 28 seconds at the 40-yard line.
Yeah, Hatcher's doing a nice job of just going through his reads, dumping it off, keep moving, positive yards, move the sticks. You just can't get into those 3rd and 4th and longs. As long as you move the sticks, clock's on your side when it stops for first downs.
So Hatcher stays in. In comes Marquez Cooper, the transfer from Kent State, one of the best running backs in Kent State history. So Cooper checks in with Hatcher taking shotgun snap, second down from the 40-yard line, chucks it right, and it's incomplete, intended for Malcolm Gilly. Clock stops at 24 seconds on second down from the 40-yard line.
Yeah, I mean, you're seeing the coaching from even the quarterback there, Hatcher, who's played a lot of football. He's telling Gilly, get into that route a little bit quicker so he can hit him. That's the timing that we're seeing in the spring here. Different guys learn how to play with each other.
So Hatcher stands in shotgun, second down at the 40-yard line. Koziol works right to left in motion. Hatcher on the second down, takes a deep drop toward the Cardinal Beak logo, flings one into the ground intended for Koziol. And the defense there by Jordan Coleman locked down Koziol to make Hatcher throw it away.
Yeah, the defense is doing a really nice job there. Hatcher's got nowhere to go with the football as we get into, it looks like 3rd and long with 19 seconds. So see what we draw up here. Got to try to put this football in the end zone.
So Lane Hatcher with big reps, as we talked about earlier here in the spring game, has an opportunity on 3rd down at the 40, 19 seconds left. Ball State's offense down 26-21 in this simulation. Hatcher takes a quick drop, surveys left, flings it right, caught by Cooper, spins through 2 and glides outside the numbers right, and is close to the 30. They'll mark him down at the 31-yard line. So it is a 4th down chance coming up with 9 seconds and 2 timeouts still in Ball State's back pocket. This is a pretty big situation. Is the field goal team coming on to attempt a 48-yard field goal, or do they try to get the first down with 15 seconds?
So I think based on, I could have the situation wrong. It looks like we're down 5 in this situation, so have to go for the touchdown.
Right, that's right. Sorry.
So we just burned our first timeout, 15 seconds now. We're back up on the board. Get positive yards. Move the sticks forward. You've got timeouts in your back pocket. Get at least a shot at the end zone, maybe hopefully 2, depending on this play and how quickly you can get the ball moving forward. I would expect a quick out route, something to the outside, but you can go into the middle because you have timeouts. So just have to move the ball forward so that you get hopefully 2 opportunities at the end zone.
So 15 seconds, 4th down and 1 for Ball State. Ball planted at the 31. It's Cooper to Hatcher's left. Couple of tight ends, 2 wide receivers. Malcolm Gilly split out wide right. Hatcher's in shotgun. Crow, the center, snaps. Cooper flies out left. Quick toss. Brady Hunt catches outside the numbers right. Boley's forward. Cole Pierce pushes him out of bounds. Past the 1st down marker, Ball State moves the chains with 12 seconds and 2 timeouts. So now they're at the 28-yard line. Couple of plays with 12 seconds left. What's your move? And you still have those 2 timeouts.
Yeah, I think you can take a shot at the middle. Try to run a crossing route. Try to get something a little bit deeper. Burn a timeout. You get another couple of plays there at the end zone.
It's a chance for Hatcher to open things up. 3 split wide left. It's Koziel, the tight end who works left to right in motion. Hunt, the tight end, standing right. 12 seconds. Hatcher takes the snap on 1st down, throws it over the middle, caught by Gilly. And there's Ball State using one of its 2 remaining timeouts with 8 seconds to go in this session. So the offense trails the defense 26-21, 8 seconds, 1 timeout left, have to score a touchdown to win the game.
Yeah, so either you're going to see them try to run a quick another play inside to the 10 quickly, get down, timeout, or you're going to see a quick fade out to the sideline, throw it up to the end zone, and hope that that's going to happen in about 6 seconds. And if it goes out of bounds, okay, then you're going to get one more shot at the end zone for everything. So got to be a little strategic on how you want to do it. There's multiple different ways, but got to get your shot at the end zone at some point.
With 8 seconds, we'll see how Ball State operates with that opportunity. So it's the 7-on-7 end of game 2-minute drill. There's 8 seconds left. Ball State has 1 timeout, 2nd down at the 22-yard line. Hatcher's into shotgun formation. Pemberton the back. Quick toss from Hatcher to Pemberton. Slides over the 15-yard line at the left hash mark. And Ball State burns its final timeout offensively. Well, no, they actually hurry up to the line of scrimmage. They picked up the 1st down, and with 2 seconds left, Hatcher throws it toward the end zone, back corner, and it's broken up, intended for Dwayne Moorhead. Defensive back Jordan Coleman all over, and it's incomplete. The defense takes the first one here.
Yeah, Coleman had a nice breakup of the pass there. I would assume that the scoreboard's not being updated, so I think we were out of timeouts there. Got the 1st down, had to run a play with 2 seconds left. Nice fade ball to the end. I just think it needed to be a little bit deeper for the receiver to have an opportunity to go up and get it, but a really nice defensive play there by the Cardinal defense.
That was Coleman with the one-on-one coverage against Moorhead. And so the defense picks up a win on that one.
Yeah, and the defense they're feeling good now. They've got off to they got the first one. Now let's see if the offense can respond out here as we see Kiel Kelly, I believe.
Yeah, so it's Kelly taking the reps after Hatcher took the first one. So Kyle Kelly, quick sling with the right arm, incomplete, intended for Justin Morris, a tight end for the Cardinals. So 2nd down from the 36. That takes 3 seconds off the clock. So down to 58 in this 1 minute, 1 second drill at the minus 36, 2 timeouts. Again, the defense leads 26-21, and the offense has to go out and score a touchdown. So Kelly's in shotgun. 4 wide receivers, running back to his right. Quick throw from Kelly, straight over the middle, and it's caught by Gilly in between the hash marks. Check that. Not Gilly, that is Keon Magwood, 5'11", 173 sophomore. So ball's placed at the 41-yard line. Ball State has 40 seconds left on the clock. Quick sling of the arm from Kelly. Outside the numbers right. Caught again by Magwood, and he sprays outside the numbers right to the opposing 45-yard line. So 2 timeouts in the back pocket. Ball State's offense working. Clock dwindles down to 34 seconds. Here goes Kelly. Shotgun formation. Looks right. Chucks it right outside the numbers and pulled in from Ball State's Austin Hill, the redshirt sophomore. Worked out of bounds, so at the 36 of the defense. Offense still has 2 timeouts. Kelly takes the snap with 28 seconds, guns it over the middle, caught by the tight end Morris, and he plants his feet and is touched at the 21-yard line. So with 22 seconds and 1st down, Kyle Kelly takes the snap and throws it into the turf, clocks the ball, stops the clock with 21 seconds, 2 timeouts, plenty to work with.
Yeah, I've been impressed by Kelly. You know, he's, again, this type of drill is great for a young player like him who hasn't played a ton. Hatcher has played a ton of college football, 4 years of it. Kelly needs these 2-minute reps because when he gets into that situation, he wants to feel comfortable. He's done a really nice job of moving them downfield, just reading what the defense is giving him and delivering the football.
And so Kelly in between the hash marks with a couple of wideouts and a couple of tight ends. Again, this is an open competition, right? It's Kelly, Hatcher. They're all fighting for the number one job as Kelly looks right, guns it right. It's caught, then dropped by Austin Hill, and it's incomplete. Third down at the 21-yard line of the defense for Ball State's offense, trailing 26-21, down to 17 seconds left. The first down marker stationed at the 11-yard line, so third down and 10 for Ball State's offense under Kyle Kelly.
At third and long here, 17 seconds. You definitely want to get somewhere closer to the sticks, preferably a first down, but you got a couple of plays here.
Three wide receivers split left, tight end right. Kelly surveys, takes the snap, deep drop, looks over the middle, chucks it toward the end zone left, and it's incomplete past the outstretched hands of Daya Patel. Looking for the corner. It's now 4th and 10 at the 21-yard line, 11 seconds left. Ball State needs a touchdown. Is this one of those times maybe you burn a timeout? You have two.
Yeah, I think typically in a game you would, but for the sake of spring practice and keeping things moving, Coach Lynch has a play in his back pocket here. They're probably just going to play it out. But if we were in an actual game situation, 3 timeouts, 11 seconds, you're going to talk about this one. Make sure you get the right play called in.
So Kelly operates the offense. Saw a little bit of Kyle Kelly last year against Miami of Ohio. 8 rushes, had 80 yards, a big 40-yard burst in that game. Last game of this season, had 1 pass completed for 23 yards. So an opportunity for Kelly to flash his skills on 4th and 10. 11 seconds to go. Kelly takes the snap, rolls, chucks it toward the end zone. It's hauled in on a slide, and Kyle Kelly celebrates with the man who caught it, Austin Hill. Sliding catch after Hill dropped one earlier. Kyle Kelly puts one right where Hill only can catch it between 2 defenders.
That was an exceptional throw, and even better catch by Hill. Hill, the local kid from Yorktown High School. I'm sure he's got some family that are going nuts right now. That was a great drive, capped off with a touchdown. That's exactly what you want from the young quarterback and the young receivers.
The redshirt sophomore Austin Hill flashes his skills in a sliding catch to have the offense pick up a win after the defense took the first 2-minute drill session.
That's what you want out of that. You want to see both sides. You don't want to see one side dominate today. You want to feel better as a coaching staff that it was competitive, that you saw both sides competing, and that you're going to see some wins and losses from both sides.
So now everybody gathering near midfield. It's one-on-one offensive lineman versus defensive lineman. So they've got 5 linemen lined up on offense, but it's just the one-on-one that everybody's looking at. It's Corey Stewart, the left tackle, working against Sidney Houston on the outside, and then they'll go toward left guard and then move from left side to right side. So in is Damon Kaler versus Kyle King. They go one-on-one. Kaler holds his ground. King breaks through at the last moment. Now it's Ethan Crow, the center, against Kyron Mims. These are all names that everybody knows for Ball State football because of the familiarity within the program from these offensive and defensive linemen, as Mims nearly gets right by Crow to Lane Hatcher, the quarterback.
Yeah, and this is a session these guys do every day. So when there's actually a crowd watching, it gets a little personal. You want to win that one-on-one battle.
And winning the one-on-one is Taryn Tayo against Dakari Frazier. Tayo holds his ground at the right guard spot. Now it's Tommy Lawrence, the right tackle, against DeJuan Eccles. Eccles pushes toward Hatcher, and Lawrence holds just long enough for the play to be called off. So that's the offensive line, defensive line, one-on-one drills. Those are always tough scenarios because, again, you're put into a live situation where you have to take the snap, defend your quarterback, or go after the quarterback in such a limited time.
Yeah, you get one opportunity. There's a lot. Look, you have the whole team around there for a reason, too. There's a little trash talking. There's some bragging rights on the line. You know, they do that all the time, but you know, when the lights are on, you got to shine the brightest.
And now it goes on to one-on-ones with wide receivers, tight ends, running backs against DBs and linebackers. It's Lane Hatcher, the quarterback, throwing it deep from Malcolm Gilly, and holding is the DB Jordan Coleman. So the one-on-one skills, it goes Gilly versus Coleman. That one's complete. And then Dwayne Moorhead against Lauren Strickland, wide receiver versus defensive back. Kelly, the quarterback this time, throws it from the left hash, outside the numbers, left, incomplete, too long for Dwayne Moorhead as Lauren Strickland pushed him toward out of bounds.
Yeah, and that one was just a bad throw. He had him beat. The defensive back really didn't turn his hips fast enough on that one.
So the defense is 2 for 2. It's now Caden Samanja, the freshman quarterback, in throwing to Daya Patel against D.D. Snyder. And the defensive back, D.D. Snyder, takes down the wide receiver,
That's
Daya
what
Patel.
you love, DD's physicality at the line of scrimmage, but at some point you have to let go. It turns into a pass interference at some point, so he's got to grab that fine line.
Hatcher throwing for Koziel, beats Jordan Riley, the veteran defensive back, catches at the 42-yard line. So that's the first catch for the offense on now 4 tries.
He made him earn it, though. That was a good competitive battle there.
And Jordan Riley had press coverage at the very start of it. Hatcher back at quarterback. Brady Hunt, the tight end, works against Red Potts, and Brady Hunt with the catch outside the numbers left, and back-to-back plays where the offense has shown success.
When you're going against Hunt, that's the toughest cover on this entire team. The whole conference, I would say. That kid's big and can get anything.
Kelly for Pemberton takes one step to his left. Jukes goes right and burns right past Cole Pierce, and Vaughn Pemberton wins that one-on-one. It's now our last one, Marquez Cooper against Joey Stemler. The Kent State transfer busts outside the numbers left, takes one step left, burns right, and flies by Stemler. And after a couple of defensive stops early on in that drill, the offense rewarded from its skill players, starting with the tight ends.
Yeah, the running backs versus the linebackers, that is the toughest cover because the running back position is so athletic. The linebackers are reading the initial run or pass. Then they've got to drop it. They got running back responsibility. You put them open in space. A lot of coaches call that intentionally to get their running back on that linebacker. So you try to put that linebacker in a bind. It's good to see if the linebackers can make a play.
So now going from some of those one-on-one drills, all the players now lining up with pads stationed at the 50-yard line. Players have to go in between the pads. It's kind of like a one-on-one drill as well. There's a couple of groups going at the same time.
Yeah.
Rather just one group. It's kind of like you have 2 pads and then the center, defensive lineman right on top of the center trying to make a play to get by the defense.
So these are your tackles. This is an outside run play. You know what's great about this is you're getting the one-on-one tackle versus defensive end, blocking and shed block, but you're also forcing that running backs and the quarterback to hit their target so that it comes downhill and that play hits exactly where you want it to.
One of those players on the outside, the tackle that just ran through the drill, Charlie Spiegel.
Yeah, the transfer from Indiana, local kid out of New Pal High School. Lit up the scoreboard in high school at New Pal, set all kinds of records. Be interesting to see what kind of role he has with this team. He's just, this is his first couple of practices getting to know this group. He's gotten some actual playing time at Indiana with some actual carries, so a good veteran presence to have in your running back room.
So the running backs going through that, Vaughn Pemberton, Marquez Cooper, Rico Barfield, T.J. Horton, Charlie Spiegel, Shaka Griffin, the name that a lot of people around here know. Muncie, Indiana product, Muncie Central High School, sophomore year, running through that drill as well. So that concludes the ball you drill at the 50-yard line. So now they move on to the circle chase at the 50-yard line. Moving pretty quick here at spring game. I think with everybody having a sense of what's going on and what drill's coming up next, the flow has been there.
Yeah, and I think you want to keep these drills on time so that when you get to that live segment, if you want a little bit extra time, you still are hitting your marks on how far this practice goes. You don't want to go over on your practice time. You want to be, strategic on making sure you get your reps done and get them done right. So I think it's good that there's a pace. It's also, that's part of conditioning a little bit. It might seem like it's not because you're not moving, but when you're going fast pace, it keeps it up tempo for you.
So with the circle chase, there are 3 cones, one at the 50, one at the 45 left, one at the 45 right, and it's a skill position versus a defender going up against one another. So they have to try to burn by the defense after running a certain set to one of the cones. Both players start at the 50, and then the cones at the 45s on each other. Players start at the 50, go to the opposite 45s, ball caught, and then the offensive player has to burn by the defensive player.
Yeah, so this is going to work on your open field tackling. You're going to see if a guy can play in space. They're going to give a player the football, like you said. You've got to make a tackle. You've got the sideline at your disposal. Can you force him to the sideline and use it as an extra defender?
So Xavier Simpson went up against Blair Shawnhurst. Keon Magwood against Jalen Jones. Austin Hill takes on Alex Stern. Maximus Webster versus Jack Beebe. Justin Morris and Caden Johnson. Max Sullivan against Drew Harper. Shaka Griffin takes on Kyle Lozen, Rico Barfield against Keontae Newsom, Charlie Spiegel against Delton Elrod to wrap up this portion of the drills.
And you're seeing a lot of younger guys or a lot of guys that haven't been playing a lot of football on this roster, I would say. So you're trying to put them in an uncomfortable situation to see if they can execute in front of a crowd, in front of the team, and you get one rep on tape, but the coaches are going to break down later.
There goes Griffin, and Griffin to the 46, shoestring tackle, and a stop there for the defense. It's a fun drill because it works on those quick movements, and everybody has to be so precise as Newsom links up defensively with Barfield. They popped each other, not afraid of the contact.
Honestly, you want to see this drill get a little nasty. You want to see some edge to some guys, to the point where they're like, I'm not going to let you beat me. You kind of call out a guy's pride a little bit in this drill because you're going to see if they want to compete or not.
And everybody's wearing the protective gear on top of the helmets. So the big pads that you see players wear in practice, they are wearing those during these drills.
And that's a new thing that almost everybody in college football, pro football, is starting to adapt. It helps limit concussions. It's more pro player. It protects them so that you can limit those head contact injuries. You wouldn't wear these in a game. They add a little bit extra weight, but it's something that is great that these players are taking a part of during the offseason, during their season prep, because it's going to limit those head injuries.
All right, Nick Traub, it's team punt time.
I love punt.
Here we go. The team punt, this is session 10, and the second special teams grouping that we've seen today. Earlier was the PATs, the field goal opportunities for Carson Homer, working with Lucas Burrow, a new long snapper, Caden Britton, and now this time it's the punt unit that comes in with Lucas Burrow.
So like we said earlier, new specialist. Burrow's obviously a returner. You have a new long snapper. You want to build that chemistry from long snapper to punter. You want to make sure that these guys are getting the scheme down with your punt, and you're going to throw different looks at them so that they can adjust to the blocking scheme with that punt return, because we're going to see multiple different punt return looks this year. So you want to change it up, get kids comfortable with communicating up front so that, because again, the biggest risk on punt is that it gets blocked. You don't want that, so the more chaos you can throw at the punt unit, the better off they're going to be come season time.
And Marquez Cooper, the one returning the kicks, quote unquote. No contact with Cooper back at the 30-yard line. So when you talked about chemistry with long snapper to punter, what does that mean?
The operation. So certain punters like the ball in a certain spot. Like, when I played, our punter liked it right on his left hip because he was a left-footed kicker. So you try to get it right around the waistline. You don't want to put it up at their face. The operation needs to be under 2 seconds. If you can keep it under 2 seconds, and that helps your team in blocking up front because you're getting that ball out, and then you can go cover. So it's more the spin on the ball, what he's used to. Just everything's new cadence for the long snapper from where he came from. So just getting adapted to that, getting used to the shifts. Ball State likes to shift for the protection, getting used to waiting. It's all the little things, that you like to work with in spring football so that it come fall, it's just a piece of cake.
Dylan Seiler was a long snapper last year, so Caden Britton takes over as a sophomore for the first time in a Ball State uniform. So they were working at the 30-yard line. They've moved it up to the 45-yard line on the minus side.
So now we'll work on pin punts. This will be coffin corner, try to stick it down there. You will have our gunners actually turn around and try to down the ball inside the 10. So you're working situational punting now.
Quarterbacks loosening up on the left end zone. Once we'll have some more of the team drills going on. Burrow with the right-footed punt, plants one down at the 15, rolls toward the hash marks right, and lands in the lap of one of the gunners.
And that speaking of gunners, that's another thing you're working with. You're going to have new gunners this year. How do they react to Burrow's punts? How do they play the bounce? It's just little things that you got to get used to, time it out right so that you can build that chemistry onto the fall.
Each one of these looks for punts are all different. So they're not punting from the same spot on any of these. Like you said, the last one was trying to pin it inside the 20, closer to the 10 or the 15. Now Burrow's back to his own 30-yard line. And the right-footed Australian product puts one right by the 30-yard line.
And that rep right there, even good for the returners. That ball went out of bounds. Returner saying that he's pointing to the ball so everybody knows that's going out of bounds. Get away. Nobody needs to touch it. Just working on the little fundamentals of catching the football, communicating to your team on the punt return team.
So Burrow continues to have more reps, and these are more reps than we saw with the field goal unit. Quicker operations with the punt team to be able to go out and continue to punt. So strong punt there from Burrow to put it at the opposing 20-yard line.
Yeah, field goal's something you work on every single day, but the punt unit, you're probably only getting, so if they have 3 practices a week, you're probably getting once, maybe twice that week, because you've got to get kick return in, kickoff in. So, if you can maximize your effort while you're outside today, not kicking into the roof, you give yourself an opportunity for the long snappers and the punters to punt in front of a crowd and put a little more pressure on them.
And one of the things that we see, especially on this particular snap, the rugby style from Burrow, all the players pointing out different things to make sure that the coverage is where it needs to be.
Yep. And you have rugby punt with him. He's very dynamic the way he punts the football coming from Australia. They've got different directional punts. They've got different protection looks. So just giving them every opportunity to communicate and play to the scheme of what we're using, how we're able to utilize Burrow. And
so far, everything's been clean from the new long snapper Britton to Burrow. And that's a huge positive, especially at spring camp.
Absolutely. He's the only guy on the roster right now. I assume that we've probably got some walk-on players coming in the fall. That's a beautiful punt right there, down at the 1. That's exactly what you want to see right here as you conclude spring practice in the punt session.
I was just about to say that's the last punt. Lucas Burrow walking off with some happiness on that one.
Golf swing hat tip to Lucas Burrow right there. He's going to go a happy man today.
Wait, you just said golf. The Masters, I guess, are happening right now, right?
Oh, yeah.
Somebody was down there. I know somebody that was in Augusta.
Yeah, unfortunately, we were very fortunate to win the lottery and go down there on Monday. It was a beautiful course.
Absolutely. A little bit of rain yesterday, pushed some things back today, but seems like everything's back on track at the Masters. So now they have a quick break with the team punt being done, and then after that, they'll go into more of that live team-on-team situation here where they want everybody to have reps, game action, move quick, have your plays. And these are it's a certain number of plays.
Yep.
So they'll go in amount of plays. It's not timed, but it's a certain amount of plays this time, and it's 4.
And it's 11 on 11 right now. So this is where you want to put something good on tape for these coaches to walk away from the spring on.
So the first quarterback out there is Kyle Kelly. Von Pemberton, Marquez Cooper, the running backs in with Kelly. Motions out Cooper from right to left. Kelly hands it off. It's Pemberton, splits outside the numbers right, hit at the 50-yard line. First hit by D.D. Snyder.
So, yeah, and it looks like we're going to go with a thud period. What thud means to those watching at home is we're not going to take to the ground. We want to prevent injuries, so it's just, either lightly grab, just square up, but you're not taking to the ground. You're not twisting and turning guys so that we don't prevent injury.
So the ball's at the 48-yard line. One play's been in. There's no score on this one. It's not a time down. It's not a timed drill. Kelly's under center this time. Cooper's the running back. Bunch formation, 3 tight ends in. Kelly, toss, Cooper, hit at the 46 on the plus side. And so 2 plays in, the offense working efficiently. They do officially mark it to the 49, so they are looking at first contact, regardless of how big or small that contact is.
Correct, which it gives more emphasis to the guys up front. And you saw that toss play. That was the first thing they worked on in individual was that exact toss play that they just now ran on that second play of the team period.
Isn't it just awesome to see football back? Like, we're so far away from opening weeks of Georgia and Kentucky, but just to be out here with it 50 degrees, sunshine, Shubin Stadium, Kyle Kelly taking the shotgun, a couple of wideouts right. Kelly's sidearm throw. Cooper drops it at midfield. So with 3 plays in the books.
That play right there, I would chalk that up to chemistry. It didn't happen. Kyle threw it a little bit too far. Cooper really wasn't ready for the throw. That's just going to take time. They're fresh faces that haven't played a lot of football with each other. They'll get that down over time.
So now the ball's moved up to the 35-yard line with Kelly taking a shotgun snap. 2 wide receivers split left, 2 are right. Running back is Pemberton. So they have it labeled as a first down at the 35. Kelly takes a deep drop, looks right, fires right. Pemberton gets right by Stemler and flies toward the end zone for a touchdown. There's the chemistry from Kelly to Pemberton. Those 2 celebrated the end zone, and that is a massive play to see from Kyle Kelly to throw it right past the linebacker.
That was a beautiful ball by Kelly. Great wheel route out to the running back. Pemberton caught it. I mean, that was a great catch too. That's exactly what I mean. That's a great. Kelly's fired up when they make a good play, and I do like to see that from the young guy.
Absolutely. Kyle Kelly, the redshirt sophomore, has thrown a couple of pretty balls today. The touchdown and the other drills early on to Hill, and then now to Pemberton out of the backfield.
You know what makes him a special player, and it's so intriguing, is his dynamic ability. He's got a good arm, but we haven't even seen any of the running with his feet. He's very dynamic, very athletic kid. When you can add that arm throw, that is the thing he's developing the most, he could be a very special player here.
And now Homer on for a field goal. They put it at the 15-yard line, so it's a 32-yard field goal. Splits the uprights, it's in, and success from the offense with the Kelly to Pemberton touchdown, and then Homer nailing the field goal. So they don't do an extra point after the touchdown here because they have it set where after those plays, they do a field goal from a certain spot just to make sure that they have the distance they want for Homer.
And you want to, the reason you add a kick there is to give a little game situation. A dead ball, end of play. You go out there, trot out your field goal unit, let them kick it.
So now we flip to a different group. Kyle Kelly leads a touchdown drive. Caden Simonza, the freshman quarterback, is in, and he hands it off to Rico Barfield, who's in between the hashes, or in between the left numbers and left hash, draws a couple of yards up to the 45. So this is a good look for Caden Simonza, the freshman from Mission Viejo, California, to show off the chemistry that he's built and some of his arm strength.
Yeah, and look, he's an early enrollee. He left his last semester of his high school, academic career. There's a lot of fun that can be had. He came here to go to work and to come into spring ball and compete a little bit. So intrigued to see what he's got.
So he's the third quarterback we've seen in these live situational simulated drills. Simonza breaks through, protection breaks down, and he jolts up to the 40-yard line on the opposite side. Picks up positive yards, use the vision to spray forward.
That was a good read. There was nobody open, and the linebackers all dropped. It just opened up for him. Take off and run with it. Take positive yards. That's a good read from a young quarterback.
So 2 plays in, Simonza makes the right read on play number 2. The offense is on the near side, the defense on the far side. Offense wears the white practice uniforms. The defense is in red. The quarterback's wearing the black uniforms. Here's Simonza in the shotgun formation. Barfield in the backfield. Quick toss right side. Hauled in by Dwayne Moorhead outside the numbers near the first down marker.
Yeah, that the ball he threw there, good velocity for a freshman. That ball looked pretty. It looked clean and spiral. First down for the Cards.
So they move it up to the 35-yard line left hash.
What you want to see out of Simonza is just to look comfortable. So far, he's looked very comfortable.
2 running backs in. One to his left, one to his right. Simonza, 3 wide receivers, 2 right, 1 left. It's a fake handoff. TJ Horton, the freshman running back, tries a one-handed catch outside the numbers right as Simonza moved toward him. Incomplete.
Yeah, that play right there, win for the defense. They smoked that one out right from the jump. Nowhere really to go with the football, just had to burn it. The drive didn't end in a touchdown there, but I thought that was very positive for Simonza there. A kid, look, he's 17, 18 years old playing against 22-year-olds in some cases. So that can be challenging as 15 practices into this, and he held his own there.
And now Carson Homer on to attempt a 47-yard field goal. Blazek Coles, Britton the long snapper, and Homer's kick from the right footer pushes left. No good for Homer on this try. Hit the 37-yarder earlier, misses the 47-yarder here. And that's the second group in the team with kicks drill. And there's still 2 more of these groups within this segment. So this is segment 12. This is the 3rd round out of 4 within this 4-play segment. They'll have another one of these at around 12:03. So we'll get to see more live, quote-unquote, action from the quarterbacks and position players. So it's Lane Hatcher in. He hands it off to Marquez Cooper from the 45-yard line on Ball State's offensive side. And Cooper sprays out toward the outside hash marks, outside the numbers left, and picks up a couple of yards.
Yeah, I'm very excited for Cooper this year. He lit up the statistics at Kent State, was an all-MAC player. They had a coaching change. He opted for the portal, found a good home with Ball State. We're very excited to see what he's got this year.
Veteran presence. Lose Carson Steele, gain Marquez Cooper. They were the top 2 running backs in the MAC last year.
Yeah.
Those 2 faces, one's at UCLA and one's within the MAC and now at Ball State.
And that's a kid that you might have seen in the Big Ten, but he opted to stay in conference.
Hatcher chucks it outside the numbers left. Koziol grabs, races forward. He's touched around the opposite 48-yard line. So we're seeing some of Lane Hatcher handoff throw combination. That's 2 plays in, so they have 2 more plays to work with.
We discussed it. Hatcher, a veteran presence. He's going to be comfortable in the huddle. He's played a lot of college football, looking for an opportunity to play here. We've got an open competition, so he's trying to make most of these reps.
Hatcher set the Arkansas State high school record for most passing yards, and he brought that to Arkansas State and Texas State. Now the graduate transfer jumps outside the pocket, races toward the numbers left, and burns by the defense and runs out of bounds. So he's past the 40-yard line. They mark him down at the 36-yard line. So now field goal range is within reach with 1 more play on the offensive side.
The biggest thing there, got the first down. 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4. The reads weren't there. Take off and get the first down. Move the sticks.
And even if it's a 4-play set, no matter what, on a 3rd down play within this set, it's good to see that.
Yeah, you don't want to force anything. You just want to play what's in front of you. So even if it's 3rd and 3, you're not trying to score a touchdown every play. Just make the right play.
So Hatcher's in shotgun. 1 more play left for the offense against the defense. Patel in motion right to left. Hatcher surveys, looks, throws it opposite side right, caught by a tight end. It's Brady Hunt. Moves forward near the first down marker at the 26-yard line. And with those 4 plays in the books, sends the field goal unit back out. But once again, Hatcher putting the offense in a position to go score some points.
I think he thought about taking the deep ball to Gilly there. He just, decided, nope, not going to force it. Dump it down to your big tight end to move the sticks.
And so a 42-yard try from Homer on the right hash. Britton the long snapper. It's Burrow the holder. Homer's kick up, has the distance, and sprays it in. So Carson Homer's 2 for 3 on this 4-play segment.
You like to see how he responded there. Missed the last one, comes out, hits the next one. You're only as good as the next play, so you like to see that from Homer.
And now with 3 of these blocks complete, Nick, the quarterback who started this block, Kyle Kelly, is back in, who led the offense to a touchdown and a pass to Vaughn Pemberton on the 4th play. So Kelly's back in, hash marks left, 3 split wide right, fake handoff to Barfield, and now Kelly uses his mobility and jumps outside the numbers left to the 35-yard line on the defensive side.
That's why he plays that position right there, the dual threat. You put numbers out wide right, you get numbers going left, little play action, RPO, and he's off to the races. I mean, that was about a 20-yard gain there, and he made it look easy.
They do move the football back for this drill, for this segment on purpose. So they push it back instead of at the opposing 40, they move it to the minus 49.
So they want to simulate 2nd and 8 here. That's probably scripted so that they can get a look at 2nd and 8 for Kelly.
And so the 2nd and 8, Kelly's in shotgun. Takes the snap, looks right. Instead of throwing, takes off and hits the 50-yard line outside the hash mark left, tumbles forward out of bounds, and a pickup of a couple. So that's a couple plays in.
Yep.
Now it's go time, right, to find something that can get them into field goal range.
And they brought in a new quarterback here, so they're really rotating reps here. Got a couple of run plays for Kelly. I haven't seen enough of Hatcher to know that RPO play is really for him, but, only time will tell.
So now Hatcher comes in. Ball's positioned at the plus 49. 2 plays in during this segment. In it, running back is Charlie Spiegel. You mentioned it, Nick, earlier, broke so many records in high school, transfer from Indiana. Hatcher takes the shotgun snap, surveys, lobs one up. It's Koziol, 20-yard line outside the numbers right, brings it in, fights through the defense, runs toward the end zone. And for the purpose of this drill, they don't count it a touchdown. But the ball placement from Hatcher to Koziol on point. Hit him right in the numbers.
That was a great throw, great read. Coaches coaching up the defensive back. Could have been a broken coverage of some sort, but nice play there from, throw to catch. And you were talking about Spiegel. Another transfer, running back position, very versatile, be a special teams guy, short yardage guy. His brother played here with me, Joe Spiegel. So it was a nice fit to see him come home, still stay in state.
Now Hatcher on his 4th play of this segment. Under center, ball spotted at the 36-yard line. Again, just trying to get Ball State into field goal range. It's a handoff to Barfield, and he's hit a couple of times near the line of scrimmage at the 35. And in comes the field goal unit for another try. This is the deepest. Check that. They're moving the football up to the 19 on the left hash. So instead of kicking it where it was last placed, they move it up for this simulation, and it comes out to be a 36-yard try from the left hash for Carson Homer.
Work a little different situation.
So this is the last of the 4 segments within the team with kicks drill. And Homer trying to plant in the 4th try, and he misses left.
I would blame the snap to hold on that one. The snap was a little bit behind on the holder. He had to reach farther over to come bring it down. That can throw the kicker off. So it's the little things, the chemistry we talked about. You got to work on that. It's a new group, and there's plenty of time to fix that.
Hey, Ball State fans, don't forget, it's Ball State men's basketball camps, a Little Cardinals camp on June 15th for boys and girls age 4 to 8. Cost is $50. There's the day camp from June 19th to 22nd. Boys and girls grades 2 through 9 can be a part of the Ball State men's basketball camp. That is a $200 cost for grades 2 through 9 on June 19th through 22nd. Check out Ball State men's basketball camps.totalcamps.com. That's Ball State men's basketball camps.totalcamps.com for more information, or you can reach out to Special Assistant to the head coach, Bill Comar, at william.comar, C-O-M-A-R, at bsu.edu, a chance for the kids camp to take place. So now after the segment is done, it's take the can. Balls, well, not ball, but the pad placed at the 50-yard line for the special teams unit to try and break through their blocker to go up and hit the pad before the player can stop them.
Yeah, so this is, you're working, punt, return, punt. You're trying to pursue a returner in this instance. The defense is trying to, block you one-on-one. You keep it in between two, 10-yard hashes. You're trying to win the one-on-one. So you're putting guys in a position to go compete.
So it's take the can. In this case, take the pad, right?
Yeah.
Take the can, just a phrase to use.
Well, and what the coaches are looking for, there's different positions on all of special teams. They want to see how their special teams depth may play out into the fall. So they're going to put guys in positions that may not even be in this come the fall, but they want to see if they can actually do it. So you can only put guys in the situation to see if they can play that role, and that's what they're doing. They're putting guys that they want to see on tape to see how this might look in the fall.
So take the can. Jordan Coleman against Styla Patel. Dwayne Moorhead, D.D. Snyder go up against each other. Xavier Simpson against Webster. Horton and Sean Hurst. Spiegel against Drew Harper. Jackson Constantine against Carl Audrick. Rico Barfield against DeJuan Eccles. Danny Royster takes on Dakari Frazier. Jalen Jones against Shaka Griffin. Caden Johnson against Kyle Lawson.
Look at that rep. Stonewalled him.
Everybody is hyped up near midfield.
That's one example right there. You put a guy in a position, he answered the bell, the other guy didn't come off the ball very well. That's the way it goes.
Everybody's hyping up Griffin, the Muncie product. And now Caden Johnson blows right by his man.
Good rep by Johnson.
Look at all these different opportunities for players to take advantage. And you can definitely see some of the players have taken full advantage. And Griffin and Johnson at the end put an exclamation mark on it.
Johnson's a sophomore linebacker. We've had a veteran linebacking group, the last couple of years. Red shirt year probably in there for him. Trying to get an opportunity to get on the field, get on the bus, get on special teams. That right there puts him in a good spot to have success here in the fall.
And so that drill is over. Quick drill with Take the Can. So quick break taking place. And now again going back to team live with kicks, which is what we saw right before Take the Can. 4 plays, field goal. 4 plays, field goal, 4 plays, field goal, 4 plays, and then a field goal. Again, simulating live plays, rotating in different players on offense and on defense. So on offense, it starts off with Lane Hatcher at quarterback. And this is 11 on 11. At the first end of game segment, we saw 7 on 7. This is 11 on 11. Hatcher hands off. Pemberton wrapped up quickly near the line of scrimmage. And there's contact this time. These are tackles,
Yep.
and these are plays where it's not just a thud. This is actually everybody's going out the tackle.
Yeah, so and I'm looking at the sheet now. It actually calls this out. It is live in red. So this is full contact, take to the ground. This is where you really want to see guys make a play.
And the defense did exactly that on the first of 4 plays within this first segment. So Hatcher's back in shotgun. Pemberton's the running back to his left. Gilly split out wide left. Xavier Simpson checks in. Daya Patel split out wide right. Patel stands at the 40-yard line. In motion goes Patel. Hatcher fakes the handoff to Pemberton. Hatcher throws it, caught by the tight end Hunt at the 46, and wrestled down. Joey Stemler with the hit.
Not a great snap. Hatcher had to turn, didn't get the steps he wanted, but able to make a nice play there.
How about Joey Stemler? Was one of those guys that everybody was talking about in the season last year as a backup linebacker. Now this year, playing some pivotal snaps throughout the spring.
Yeah, and look, the more reps, the better. It's a guy that we're going to need come the fall. He's going to have to play some snaps for us.
So 2 snaps down, 2 to go. Hatcher's in at quarterback. Marquez Cooper, the running back. Hatcher surveys straight, throws it across the middle, caught by Gilly at the 30-yard line and jumps inside the 25 and wrestled down by a host of defenders. It was Coleman in there with Stern and Strickland.
Yeah, nice play there. Gilly was working right into that gap, stopped a little bit short. Hatcher threw it right to the window. Gilly ends up making a play. That's something, again, the chemistry that you're working on. Come fall, he'll find that gap. Hatcher will know exactly where he's at. That'll look a little bit cleaner. But, again, great play.
Hatcher to Gilly for the 3rd play. They move the ball back to the 41-yard line for the 4th and final play within this set before the field goal. And there's movement. Who moved first, false start or encroachment?
I think the guard and the tackle both moved on the clap.
So this time the clap, everybody holds. Hatcher throws it, and it's knocked down by Brandon Berger.
Nice play by Berger there. Get his hands up, knock that down.
Everybody knows the names: Keontae Newson, Clayton Call, Cole Pierce, Sidney Houston at linebacker, right? Those are the 4 that returned from last year. But there's Joey Stemler, Brandon Berger, who are all fighting for positions. Jack Beebe has had a great camp.
Yep. Guys that are they're getting an opportunity to have a role in the fall, and you're making the most of it.
So ball spot at the 23. It's a 40-yard try from Stemler. So far, Stemler has hit 2 field goals on 4 tries. Here goes Stemler. Right-footed kicker, right through the uprights inside the right side.
He's done a nice job of responding every time they've had a miss, both the snapper, the holder, and the kicker. Really nice operation there, way to put that in.
So that's the first of live operation. 3 more of these 4-play sets.
And we're going to see Samanza here. So, look, this is the first live reps he's getting in front of a crowd here in the college rankings. So we'll see what he's got.
And where he can be hit.
Yeah.
This is live action. Tight end, 3 wideouts. Running back to his right is Spiegel. Samanza races toward his right, and he's dropped down at the 30-yard line. He can't be hit because he's wearing the black uniform, I should say, but he can be approached and stopped. He can't just wiggle free.
The pass rush for the first time is in his face.
Yes.
You've got to make plays. That one, he took his drop, and he didn't really have much where to go on that one.
So the defense wins that rep. Nathan Reichert was the first one there to be in the face of Samanza. So now Samanza goes under center. It's a toss play. Spiegel spits forward, falls to the 45-yard line, so a gain of 6 on a toss from Samanza to Spiegel.
Yeah, and again, we talked about Spiegel's a guy with Big Ten reps. They got into some injury issues at Indiana. He got thrown into a role. He had to make the most of it. He's now looking for a role here, and we'll see. We'll see how things shake out. Obviously, a big kid in the weight room, and we'll see what happens in the fall.
Spiegel checks out, and comes Barfield. It's Samanza in shotgun from the left hash at the opposing 46. Handoff, Barfield stutters, stops, breaks through one tackler, and then hit down by Royster.
Yeah, that play just looked a little too slow. You're trying to read that one. The offensive line's pulling, trying to read which gap to go. We ended up with 3 or 4 yards. It just looked like that one just took too long to go.
So 3 plays down. Samanza has 1 more play to go. Bringing a couple of more tight ends. A 2 wide receiver set, 1 on either side. Samanza takes the snap from the shotgun, fakes the handoff to Barfield, looks over the middle of the field, lobs one deep, racing for it, and ultimately not able to haul it in is Moorhead through the middle of the field. It's broken up by the defensive back Stern, who had great coverage on Moorhead.
Yeah, great play by the defense, great coverage. I like that he took the shot. He's got a good-looking arm. Just a little bit too lofty on that one. Defense able to make a play. And that's something he'll get coached up and learn. But I think he's had a promising day so far. He's looked pretty good.
So in comes Homer for another field goal try. He's 3 for 5 in the spring game. Ball spotted at the 17-yard line. A 34-yard field goal from the right hash. Blazik the holder. Kick from the right-footed Homer knocks it right through. So Homer today, 4 for 6.
So far, I mean, that's pretty good. And now we'll see Kelly. And so we've got 4 players. I'm interested to see if we see some RPO here, if they try to get him to throw the ball a little deeper. It'd be interesting to see how the plays change when he's in the backfield.
So Kelly's in. To his right is Cooper, the transfer from Kent State. Defense has 4 down linemen. Kelly point outs the protection. Looks at the defense, claps his hands, fakes the handoff to Cooper, chucks it right in front of him to Koziel, who bursts forward down to the 40-yard line outside the numbers right, and a productive play on that move from Kelly. So a fake handoff, fake run from Kelly, and a quick toss to the tight end.
And that's the RPO you see when he's under center. He's got the ability to take off with his legs there. You get one defender in space, and they have to commit to either that RPO tight end or him as the runner. So he dumps it off, makes the right read. That's what he's going to put teams in a bind this year if he's going to be on the field. You saw it in that Miami, Ohio game late last year.
The ability for him to hit in stride Koziel and to not miss a beat when the defense is coming toward him is a big part of the puzzle, right?
Correct. And look, whether he is the starting quarterback or there's a package for him, we will use him this year at some point. He's that dynamic of a player.
And Kelly stopped at the line of scrimmage on the second play out of the 4-play set. So after this, it's the competition big man gauntlet, where all the quarterbacks will go through the gauntlet, and then a few of the defensive and offensive linemen will race through as well. Still 2 plays to go in this 4-play set, and then 2 more sets after this one concludes. Kelly's under center, bunch formation toward the left, 1 wide receiver split out right. Kelly turns around, hands it off to Pemberton, slices outside toward the numbers left, stiffs arms a defensive back, and is pushed out of bounds. The DB on him was Dion Manley, a Bloomingdale, Illinois product in his sophomore season.
It's been a while since I've seen you, but Pemberton looks bigger.
Mm-hmm.
At 210,
put on muscle, yeah.
Yeah, he's 210 right now. He looks good out there, the size of him running.
This running back room, super dynamic for Ball State. Vaughn Pemberton, coaching staff has said he's had his best spring that he's had since he's been on campus. You can tell that the weight room has been where he lived after the season ended.
Yep.
And we can't forget, it's only been a couple of months since the 2022 fall year ended.
Correct.
Like, we're in April.
And we still have the entire summer session. So some of these guys that still you would think might need another 5 or 10 pounds to feel comfortable playing, a bunch of snaps and being able to take on blocks, they still have that opportunity. So just because they're not there yet doesn't mean they're not going to be there in the fall.
So here's Kelly in shotgun formation. Fake handoff to Cooper. Surveys, throws it. Cooper catches, nearly falls down to the 40, regathers his feet, and is down at the 31-yard line.
Good-looking screenplay, just timing. That's something that they'll work out as they continue to work on that. But ball was a little bit behind him. Cooper gets tripped up. Now there's nowhere to run. That's just pitch and catch. You will see them work that in individual as we get into fall camp. They'll have that down pat pretty easily.
And guess who was on the stop? Caden Johnson.
Caden Johnson.
Called his name quite a bit today at the spring game. So it's another field goal opportunity for Carson Homer. He's 4 for 6 today. Ball spotted at the 28-yard line, makes for a 45-yard try. Right hash, Burrow set to hold, Britton the long snapper. Homer says he's good to go. Burrow puts down the ball, end over end, and Homer puts it straight through.
Great kick.
Homer now 5 of 7 today on different kicks. It's been from the left hash, been straight, or it's been from the right side. A lot of opportunities for Homer to show off the leg.
Hey, he's making the most of it. What did you say? He was 5 for 7?
5 for 7.
Yeah, I mean, look, you're here in Muncie, Indiana with this wind. You're not going to hit them all, but if you hit a high percentage, it's good for you here to get an opportunity in the fall.
And just looking at the flags, the first flags on the right side are kind of pushing right toward us, and then the flags from there on to the left are all moving left. It's just that Muncie wind.
Oh, yeah.
So now it's Hatcher back in at quarterback, a handoff to Horton, and he is quickly stopped behind the backfield, behind the line of scrimmage in the backfield.
Yeah, I think his feet got tangled up, just didn't have his feet underneath him, fell right as contact was approaching. It just didn't give him a fair chance to take off with that football.
Another look for Lane Hatcher. One of 3 quarterbacks we've seen so far do work within the live drills. Hatcher fakes the handoff, rolls right, quick toss, caught by the tight end Webster, and spun out of bounds at the 45-yard line in plus territory. So they move the ball up to the 38.
Yeah, and Webster is another guy. He's still getting to learn that tight end position. He was a high school quarterback, played in state championships at Westfield High School. He's a sophomore now. He had a redshirt year. Still trying to figure out how to play tight end. It's going to take him some time. He's trying to get that spring opportunity here to put the actual pads on and not just live in the weight room and learn how to play that tight end position. It's completely different than playing quarterback.
Right, and there's a good mentor there, Brady Hunt, quarterback to tight end transfer once he got to college. So definitely some experience there to help with that transition.
Correct.
There was a handoff to Barfield, stopped at the 35-yard line. So 3 plays in for this set, the third set out of 4. So Hatcher did the first couple of reps. Last play, Kelly was in at quarterback, and Kelly stays in for this 4th play. 3 wide receivers left. Kelly chucks it left. It's Horton, the freshman running back, puts someone on skates and races toward the 35 and brought down by the defensive back. It looks like Alex Stern was the first one there for Ball State's DBs.
Yeah, that was another win for the defense. They came out. They saw that play coming. Really not a lot of room for Horton to go. Either they out-leveraged us and it was a bad play call or somebody missed a block there, but nice win for the defense. Looks like we'll see our longest field goal of the day here, too.
Longest field goal try indeed. Ball spotted at 38, so a 55-yard field goal straight up for Homer. This one close, but it doesn't have the distance, misses just short. But Homer proving that the leg is there, nearly hitting a 55-yarder.
Yeah, and 2 things they're working there. They intentionally put him deeper than probably what he was capable of, but if you saw the entire field goal team sprinted down to cover for what could have been a return. So not only do you give Homer an opportunity to kick it deep, but you give your field goal unit an opportunity to work on a situation football.
And so that concludes the 3rd group out of 4 groups for this live segment. Looks like they may actually take one of those segments out, Nick. The quarterbacks stand at the 40-yard line right side. And this is where what would next be is the big man gauntlet, but the quarterbacks are doing it first. So they may have thrown a change and not done that 4th segment live.
Yep. So it looks like the quarterbacks are going to throw the footballs. And it's going to be like the combine for the receivers. They're going to have to work down the line and catch every single ball. They're going to tally those up, and there's probably some scoring process down there for all the guys.
So Dakari Frazier first. Cobb throws it to him, and then Simonza throws it to him. Hatcher throws it, and then Kelly. Frazier caught all 4 throws. technically there's 5. There's Blazek standing really close as the first throw. So Frazier caught all 5.
I could see the defense possibly winning this over the big fellas.
Here's Reichert. He's caught a couple. Catch from Hatcher and a
He
catch
caught 'em
from
all.
Kelly.
He caught 'em all,
He caught 'em all.
So I'm wrong.
So we're a perfect 10 for 10 in the big man gauntlet. So now it's Tommy Lawrence, the offensive lineman, turns around. First one complete. Second one complete. Here's number 3. It's good. And there's the first drop of the day. 14 for 15 in the big man gauntlet. And now Taron Tayo wraps things up on the offensive line group. So only one drop.
Just for those at home, 6'4", 300 pounds running this gauntlet right here.
And he's 2 for 2. Make it 3 for 3. Perfect 4 of 4. And he finishes 5 for 5. So out of 4 big men during the gauntlet, only one drop, 19 for 20. I think anybody will take that.
Oh, big time. And we got a gritty dance right after it.
Got the gritty dance to wrap things up here at Spring Day. So that is the final drill, the big man gauntlet, where all the quarterbacks threw it to Frazier, Reichert, Lawrence, and Tayo, and a 19 for 20 performance on the big man gauntlet. Well, Nick, that wraps up the festivities here for the spring game. When we sit here and think about all of the defining features of what this was, what did we want to see, what didn't we see, what stood out from the offense in particular during those live moments?
I thought the quarterbacks all looked comfortable. You had some new faces. You had some new receivers. You know, they looked comfortable under center. Now, did we execute perfectly today? No, but nobody does in a spring game. You're not looking for perfect execution. You're looking for guys to call out correct calls, you know, get guys lined up correctly so that you can move on from that in the fall and you can work on other things. The offense and then the defense had a bunch of wins too. I didn't think that we had a one-sided victory like you sometimes see defense or offense, one side not ready to play the other. So I was really happy with the balanced attack that we saw some good defensive wins. We saw some explosive plays from the offense. Plenty to clean up, but you know, a lot of guys got different opportunities today, and I thought they made the most of it.
They did, and an opportunity to show what they're capable of and have an opportunity to make waves at the spring game and show what they're made of on April 8th. There's still so much time between now and first kick. A couple of big games to start the season against Georgia and Kentucky, but these are the small steps that help the players move in the right direction.
Yeah, and I'm sure that Coach New's telling them right now as they're all circled up, look, spring ball's over. You can't get spring ball back now. You have to look forward to that summer conditioning program, the weight room program that Coach Armour's got in place. If you need to add 5 or 10 pounds, you need to add 5 or 10 pounds and buy in. Because when we get to the fall, you just talked about it, Georgia and Kentucky are no slouches. So you have to make the most of fall ball so that you're ready to rock and roll week 1 because you got a really tough opponent that you're going to play in week 1.
So they all walk off the field. Spring game spring game in the books, a chance for everybody to do what they can in front of a crowd for the first time, a pretty healthy crowd on display too. Awesome to see fans, friends, families all come out and support for one of the first real opportunities for them to go at it.
Yeah, and look, spring game, that's what makes it special. The family, your friends are out here. You get to see them afterwards. They'll come out onto the field, take some pictures. You know, you don't get to see your family all a ton during the year. You get to see them. They get to come watch you play, you know, in some live settings and practice a little bit. So good for the families, good for the players. And you cap this off. They got finals coming up probably, and then you turn the page into the summer.
Turn the page this summer, this team will do after finals are all complete. Well, Nick, this was fun. A chance for us to capture the moments of the spring game, see how everybody was starting to develop throughout the month of April, also in March and before the summer hits. And we can't wait for what September brings. Good football on display today, and we await the 2023 start of the season.
Yeah, and not to mention we're going to add another crop of freshmen that aren't enrolled early in the summer. So this team will look a little bit bigger. You might see some new faces come the fall. But I thought it was an exciting day here in the spring, and I think there's positive momentum towards the start of the 2023 season.
And the momentum runs right to the spring, right through the spring to the summer and then to the fall, and we can't wait to bring you all of the coverage throughout the season. Make sure to check out ballstatesports.com. Look at the men's basketball spring or the summer camps coming up with head coach Michael Lewis and crew. Contact Bill Comar at william.comar@bsu.edu if you're interested in your boys and girls aged 4 through 8 on June 15th to participate. Day camp on June 19th through 22nd for grades 2 through 9. That's a $225 cost. If you want the early bird special, it's a $200 mark until May 1st. Check out ballstatesports.com for all your football, basketball, all other sports needs, and you'll be set to go for when the fall does roll around. It's a fun one, partner. Can't wait. We'll see you in the fall.
Sounds good.
Nick Tron, Mick Tidrow from Schumann Stadium at the spring game. Ball State wraps up spring camp here with the spring game. Thanks for joining us. Have a great weekend and enjoy the sunshine.